Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב
Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la la yay la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la la yay la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Ya ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Ya ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la la yay la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 ya la 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 la. Yay 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 ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Ya ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay ya la 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 la. Shabbat Shalom and welcome. Whether it's your first time here or you've been with us many times before, whether you're here to celebrate an upcoming bat mitzvah tomorrow, or to say Kaddish, or to grieve, or to sing, we like to say here at Temple Israel Westport, you've always belonged here. I am Cantor Julia Cadrain, so happy to be joined by Zach Pleasant, Rabbi Zach Pleasant, Mike Lentowski on piano. We have Eric and Sean in the back. Shabbat has finally arrived, and thank goodness. We need it. We get to spend this next hour or so together, just existing together, singing together, and landing together in this moment of peace. We want to invite all of us to take a moment to greet someone around you, especially to look for someone that you may not know. We'll take a few minutes to say hello, and then we'll come back together. I love when the chatting just brings a life of its own and wants to continue. We're going to come back together to bring in light with our Shabbat candles. So we'll invite Chloe and Harper to come join us on the Bima, our upcoming Benot Mitzvah for tomorrow morning. Come on up to help us light our Shabbat candles. להדליק נר של Shabbat. Thank you, Harper and Chloe. We'll turn now to the part of our service where we get to welcome Shabbat. It's called Kabbalat Shabbat. And as I like to sometimes say, we want to invite you to make some sound throughout the service, especially in this part. Doesn't matter what you think about your voice or whether you know Hebrew or not. We want to make some sound together, create those vibrations inside of our bodies that actually lowers our heart rate and makes us feel better. So let that be an invitation to sing out with full hearts and full voices. We will turn together to page 131. The Hebrew is 4 lines from the bottom. This is one of our new favorites, Ya'alot Sadai. Ya'alot Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alot Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alot Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alot Sadai. Ay, 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 az Yeranenu kol atzei, az Yeranenu kol atzei, az Yeranenu kol atzei, az Yeranenu kol atzei, Ya'alot Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alot Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alot Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alot Sadai. Ay, 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 az Yeranenu kol atzei, az Yeranenu kol atzei, az Yeranenu kol atzei, az Yeranenu kol atzei, Ya'alot Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alot Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alot Sadai, v'chol asher bo Ya'alot Sadai. Ay, 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 ay. Page 648. Sing unto God. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru, shiru.
Last week I was in California for my youngest sister's high school graduation, and after we met up with her and she gave the requisite hugs and pictures to all of us as family members, she saw one of her best friends from the other side of the quad, and they sprinted to one another and leapt into each other's arms for a hug. And when I was thinking about this pre-Lecha Dodi moment, we often talk about the mystics in the city of Tzfat running out into the fields with reckless abandon and full of love, ready to greet Shabbat. And that was the image in my head. Can we be completely abandon all of our any feeling that might hold us back, any feeling of hesitation, and all we need to do is run out and greet Shabbat with as much love and excitement and warmth and joy as we possibly can. We'll begin on page 138. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on the 9th verse we will rise as we are able and face the entrance of our sanctuary as Shabbat comes and greets us, or as we go and greet it. Zachor bedibor echad hishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad ushmo echad leshem ultiferet velitchila olechad
Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'necha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikerem nesucha, sov maseh b'mat Shabbat chila. Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekavela olecha Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori uri shir daberi kvod Adonai alayich nikla olecha
Shabbat nekavela.
We remain standing and turn to page 146 for Baruch.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu
Be seated. Once or twice in a lifetime, a person may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us toward our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now very urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ba'ahava.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meyodecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shokpecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam lehot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Page 158, Michamocha, our Song of Freedom.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha.
In prayer, as in life, sometimes we go from the exuberant and joyful celebration of freedom to shelter and protection and vulnerability. And every time we transition from a setting of Mi Chamocha like that to a setting of Hashkivenu like this, I think about the liturgists writing our prayer book and compiling our prayer book must have thought that sometimes we need the exuberant joy, and then we need some lullaby and some shelter and some protection. Hashkivenu is on page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, le'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, le'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. We rise in body or spirit for the Amidah, page 164. Adonai, Sefatai tiftach, ufi agitei latecha. Adonai, open up our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishanei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'neiman Atah Lahachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim b'chol yom Yehalelucha Selah. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We turn now to our moment of Misha Berach as we are gathered as one community tonight, both in person and on live stream. We think of those who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, or spirit, and we bring their names to our minds, to our thoughts, and even to our lips to say them out loud so that we as one community together can hold them, can hold each other, and offer love and support and prayers of healing. So if you have a name that you would like to bring into this space for Misha Berach, please do so at this time. Those names that have been made known to us, we're thinking of Gerald Backman, Mary Wheeler Braun, John Burns, Alex Carr, Al Delardy, Frida Easton, Steve Elliott, Beth Field, Sue Flom, Fred Friedman, Louise Friedman, Maurice Friedman, Jackie Fuchs, Roy Fuchs, Lanny Gans, Sandra Halperin, Jeff Helfand, Richard Lieberfarb, Sheldon Manspeaser, Robbie Regano, Marcia Silber, Stan Stern, Jill Stewart, Nancy Vega, Karen Weiner, Moshe Yaakov Ben Yocheved. On page 371, for those names we've shared out loud and for those we hold in our hearts, this prayer is for them all.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal, the In just a moment, we'll turn towards personal reflection and prayer and quiet. I want to do something a little different to begin that moment, which is to invite you to put your books down for now and to just hold your two hands up like this and to breathe in like this and out. And again, just like that, inhaling and exhaling. One more time, breathing in, breathing out. Thank you for trying that with us. So keep breathing. You can use your hands if you want. Sometimes it helps me. It just reminds me to take deep breaths. We'll take a private moment for our own thoughts using the words of our hearts or the words of our books. Awaken my soul to all its potential. A letter unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. Awaken my soul to all its potential. Awaken my soul to all its potential. A letter unique in an infinite scroll. A letter unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift. Both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. Awaken my soul. Awaken my soul to all its potential. A letter unique in an infinite scroll. A letter unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift. Both a guest and a gift in this life I am living. May I be for a blessing. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. for a blessing as I come and I go.
I have here a salt shaker that is filled a little bit with salt. You can see this, live streamers at home. Here's my question. How many grains of salt do you think are in this salt shaker? 241. A lot. Yes, it is kosher salt. How many grains of salt? 2,000. 3,250. Anyone higher, more? 15,000. Anyone want to beat Dylan? 15,001. Okay, so we're all 15,001 and smaller. Interesting. Okay, we'll come back to the salt. In that jar, I need the salt again. In this jar, there are the same number of atoms comprising the salt as there are stars in the sky. It is about 200 trillion atoms. No, 200 billion trillion. There we go. 200 billion trillion atoms are in the salt that's in this shaker. And that is about approximately how many stars are in our universe. How do I know this? I had the pleasure of spending last week on a professional development retreat where we spent time with Dr. Pekka Synervo, who is a theoretical particle physicist. He was part of the team that discovered Higgs boson. He teaches at Stanford and now at the University of Toronto, where he lives. And picture 30 rabbis and cantors from all around the country gathered for a couple of days of retreat and relaxation and a little bit of learning, but we're sitting in a circle learning quantum mechanics and theoretical physics and all of the things that I thought I would never have to do because I went to rabbinical school and not, after AP Physics, I was done. But we did. We learned about quantum mechanics. We learned about, for me, I learned what a quark is. Anyone know what a quark is? This is the particle that is, smaller than, what comprises protons and neutrons that make up matter that is around us. And most of the session, the first session, I found myself asking why. Why am I here? What am I learning about? But not what am I learning, but why? What does this have to do with my life? What does this have to do with the rabbinate? What does this have to do with how we can maybe make ourselves or our lives or our world a better place? And the final evening, we went stargazing. We went out, we were in Washington, D.C., really in Virginia, on a farm, and the sky was incredible. And he was explaining to us something about galaxies and supernovas, one of which you could observe with the telescope they have, which is the remnants of a star that had then exploded. And I found myself standing next to Dr. Synervo and had some one-on-one time with him. And what I learned was, really what I learned from him was the value of not the discovery itself, but the value of discovery as a discipline, the value of the searching and the seeking and the quest for what is next, the search. In this week's Torah portion, it's called Shalach, or Shalach Lecha. The scouts are sent out, Shalach, to go forth. They're sent to scout the land of Israel, that we will soon be, we finally, wandering in the desert 40 years, we're finally almost there, and we see the land, and we send people out to search to discover. My takeaway from my time with theoretical particle physics and quantum mechanics is that the search sometimes is outward. The search also is sometimes inward, into ourselves, into what we want to do and change and discover about ourselves. And that could be a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but it's about the search more than it is the answer itself. We come back to the salt. There are approximately 20,000 grains of salt in this jar. But what struck me when he gave us this answer finally after 2 days of intense learning with him was that it didn't seem like he actually cared that much about the number of grains of salt. Because what he said as a scientist and as someone who knew more about math than I will ever hope to know in my life was that the actual number didn't seem to matter, but what mattered was how accurate the estimation was. Because if I told you there are 1 million grains of salt in here with a margin of error of plus or minus 1 million, I'm not actually telling you that much information. And he told us that this idea of margin of error, that because of, I guess, politics has become such a, this is the colloquial phrase in America, but it's a misnomer in a lot of ways because it's not an error. It's not an error that you don't know how exact your measurement is. He called it a degree of uncertainty. And to him, the degree of uncertainty was much more important than the actual value of the amount of grains in the salt shaker, because that's what told you a lot more information. And so as someone, again, who is a mathematician and a scientist, I was so struck that he was so comfortable with uncertainty. Because for him, the beauty was in the searching, in the seeking, in the discovery. For him, uncertainty equals potential. It's the potential for knowledge, the potential for new information, the potential to discover, to learn something that we did not know before. And so he sees his work in particle physics as continued discovery to learn about the potential of what can be, what might be in the world around us that we don't even know. And this idea of uncertainty equaling potential, I haven't stopped thinking about it, because many of us, certainly me, but many of us are not good with uncertainty. We like to be in control. We like to know what's happening. We like to be certain, or as certain as we can be. And my takeaway, especially on a week when we read about journeying and seeking and searching, is to try and be a little bit more comfortable with uncertainty. Because if uncertainty is potential, right, as we seek to know more about our own lives, as we seek to know more about how we want to be as human beings in the world, may we each strive to see that uncertainty as limitless potential. Because if all of the amount of stars in the sky are represented by the salt just in this shaker, how much more is in each one of us? And how much more potential could we discover if we're only willing to look? Keni Hiratzon, may it be so.
Keni Hiratzon. Yitkara ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. We turn our thoughts now to memory, to those who we've loved and lost, to those who helped us realize our full potential on this earth. If you are observing Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning, or Shloshim, the first 30 days after a loss, and would like to share the name of your loved one, we invite you to do so now. As a Temple Israel community, we are observing Shiva and Shloshim, the first 7 and 30 days following the passing of Harriet Koppelman-Minchesky, sister of Eileen. Harry Mandel, brother of Linda and Stephen, father of Matthew, grandfather of Bella and Hannah. Harry Von Gutman, father of Lisa, Vicky, Jason, and Lauren. Mark Rubenstein. Linda Lerman, wife of Rabbi Jeffrey Silberman, mother of Dina and Avi. Gabby Buckman, daughter of Cheryl and David, sister of Jackie, niece of Amy, cousin of Josh, Haley, and Jared. Gary Spencer, husband of Barbara, father of David, Stephen, Abby, Elizabeth, and grandfather of Julia, Parker, Reese, Alexandra, Darren, Naomi, Connor, Jonah, and Joshua. If you're observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a loss, and would like to share a name aloud, we invite you to do so at this time. We are also observing the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of these members of our TI family. Martin Albert, Mona Ashman, Harold Berger, Eva Cohen, Ted Gladstone, Stanley Goldberg, Rose Harriton, Jerry Canner, Mark Canover, Suzanne Kaufer, Carl Krensky, Jerry Marcus, Cecilia Montrose, Saul Mualem, Gertrude Pickholtz, Sarah F. Ross, Benjamin Seltzer, Raymond Chernow, Jackie Schulman, Ricky Schuster, Morris Snell, Honey Solomon, Dr. Alfred Steinberg, Peroska Weiss, Fred Wetzler, Leo Zipkin. If you are joining us via the live stream and you have a name to share, we invite you to do so by typing the name into the comments or simply saying the name aloud wherever you are. We invite those in the period of Shiva or Shloshim to rise in body or spirit and remain standing. And those who are observing a yahrzeit, we invite you to rise in body or spirit and remain standing. We rise together as one community in body or spirit and turn to page 598 for Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Dar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace, the one who makes peace above, bring peace to all of us here on earth. And we say together, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
You may be seated. Thank you all for joining us for the Shabbat in person or via the live stream. It's always nice to celebrate Shabbat with this wonderful, wonderful community. Before we're going to invite Harper and Chloe up to help us make kiddush and motzi, have a little bit of challah. Before I forget, next week is our first Shabbat on the beach. So Friday at 6:30, we will be at Campo Beach. It's Pride Shabbat on the beach. I am looking forward to this service. Really, since we finished it last year, it's a service to remember, and I hope I'll see all of you at Campo Beach with us. If you want to follow along with Chloe and Harper, we are on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher mitziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim. V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. Let's bless the challah together. Chloe and Harper and all of us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay, 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 ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay, 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 az yiranenu kol hatzei, az yiranenu kol hatzei, az yiranenu kol hatzei, az yiranenu kol hatzei, ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay, 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 ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay, 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 ay.
Dear God, may each one of us be a little bit more comfortable with the uncertain, because we might never know what it could bring. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.